Gran Turismo Sport is ending. This is really shocking news, way sooner than I expected. In this video, I'm going to let you know exactly what's happening now. But more importantly, I'm going to let you know what this means for Gran Turismo, what it means for racing games, because I'm still a little bit shocked here. And I'm going to show you some old school footage here to let you know how much Gran Turismo Sport meant as a game for me and people in our community. So you can see here, ending online services. By the way, this is why I warned you. Gran Turismo going online only has massive consequences, especially for people used to playing the old school GT games. But what exactly is happening now? Gran Turismo Sport, it says PS4 exclusive, but just Gran Turismo Sport full stop is ending at the end of January, and at the beginning of December you won't be able to buy any DLC. That's because I don't want you to buy DLC for a game that's about to end. But what does this mean? Because it's an online only game. Well, here we go. They say it's no longer going to be possible to utilise the online stuff like community, open lobby and sport mode. But I have to say, the offline part of the game was really bare bones. It's basically like a demo. So we need to see what they're going to do. They also said at the bottom that they're going to use the time to improve Gran Turismo 7 online services. As we know this week, Gran Turismo 7 is not really working online, so that's great. Right, here we go. Garage cars are going to stay there, including the car settings. The liveries are not going to be accessible, and you'll need to progress to access to all the world circuits. I guess what it's saying there is that you'll still be able to do the progression to unlock all the circuits, but the liveries are not going to be available, which I find kind of a little bit crazy. You think you'd be able to save your liveries? I mean, in our community we have so many amazing liveries. You can no longer buy the DLC, but all content purchased before will be accessible, so now's your time to buy the Lewis Hamilton DLC for Gran Turismo Sport. I hope they do a mad sale of the game as well. By the way, this could be licensing issues with certain cars. That means they have to take it off, or it could be the online services thing. We will see. So it'll be no longer possible to do those services. I said you can't purchase stuff from the mileage store. That was that rotating shop. Trophies, you won't be able to get all trophies, and you can't access the custom liveries. Now, what does it really mean? Look, Gran Turismo Sport was such an important part for so many people. You can see me here racing with Rory Alexander. This is probably 2020 or 2021 when we were both working full-time and playing Gran Turismo in the evenings. Rory is now basically the biggest Gran Turismo streamer in the world, maybe. I had a stint where I went full-time as well. But you can see this is where it all started. This game was so unbelievably special. And you can see me here racing with Basic Ollie, another now full-time streamer. But what made it so special? Well, obviously there was the pandemic, so a lot of people racing from home. I think at this point, both me and Ollie were probably working from home, racing again in the evenings, having these incredible battles. Loads of people. Well, it felt like loads of people. I mean, my channel is much bigger now, but I feel like in many ways we were more close-knit at that time. I would stream Gran Turismo to more people 2 years ago than I do now. So it was a really sort of like special time to race, and we created these personalities and these characters and these streamers, and it's changed many people's lives. You know, Rory and Ollie, we joined an iRacing team together, and we did that, and we also hopefully inspired, you know, hundreds if not thousands of people to get involved in sim racing, and doing it all essentially for free as well. We're all a lot bigger now. We work with partners, but back then it was just all for the love of the game, I can assure you. And that, I feel like that has gone from Gran Turismo. I feel like it's gone from online racing. You know, it's a more complicated time. We're not locked in our homes anymore. There are so many more things to do, so much more competition for our time. And the reality is that we will never recapture that moment of Gran Turismo Sport. It will never happen. And I want you to let me know in the comments below your favourite memory from Gran Turismo Sport. And I feel like that's why we should really celebrate Gran Turismo Sport, and why this is genuinely a sad moment. I mean, look here, I was racing there with World Tour finalists, and you can see in this video we're setting up our esports racing team, and you see there, it wasn't a team at that point, but Neither Drifts, who's in the KCR racing team, he's now racing at a live event. All this stuff has been created out of Gran Turismo Sport. You can see me here racing with Super GT. I'm racing at the front of this grid. I was faster at this moment in time as a sim racer than I am now. Now, personally, I have more pressures on my time. I'm doing more on the content. But at that time, I was so in GT Sport. I was so addicted to the pure racing. Honestly, it just hooked me up. And I know so many of you watching, you know, feel the same way. You might be watching now and you never experienced Gran Turismo Sport. So just to explain it, it was basically a pure online experience, online racing. They launched the game with this promise that you would be able to get an FIA racing license, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I got an FIA racing license anyway, but I went through a different route in karting in the end. But that was what the essence of the game was about, that trying to create these actual racing drivers. And you know, it pushed everyone, and we were having fun, you can see here, but we were also just learning and getting faster all the time in a pure racing sense. Gran Turismo 7 went a different way. It really wants to do tuning. It kind of jumps in and jumps out on that, but it's more about this grander feel of cars. But GT Sport was sport. It was sport. I felt a bit like an athlete in a way. You know, it's similar to me playing football and playing rugby. It was similar vibes playing Gran Turismo Sport, and the lobbies were intense. There were big lobbies with big drivers in there, and everyone was pushing each other to raise their game. You know, I used to train with Rory and Basic Ollie, you know, regularly during the week when we were doing the iRacing together, and we were pushing each other, encouraging each other, and that just does not. They've not captured that in Gran Turismo 7. But as I say, I don't think it's really their fault, because I don't think you can recapture it. And I do remember saying to Rory in one of these streams, I said, you know, Rory, I feel like we should really enjoy the moments we're having now, because I just don't know whether this is going to happen in Gran Turismo 7. You know, and the general sort of feeling was Gran Turismo 7 is going to be even bigger, there's going to be more people. But I just had this feeling that what we were experiencing there was really special and really focused. And I do think that's been born true. I think Gran Turismo 7 is more of a mess of a game. Gran Turismo 8, they now have, whatever they do for GT8, they have such a split player base. They're going to need to try and work it out. And, you know, a lot of people say, should they release Gran Turismo Sport 2? As Gran Turismo Sport is probably one of my favourite games of all time, if not my favourite game of all time. I probably put over 1,500 hours into this game, so 15% of the way to getting competent if you subscribe to that theory. But I don't think they should release a Gran Turismo Sport 2. I feel like that time has gone. It was the perfect pandemic game in many, many ways. And I know lots of you watching, you'll have had your own games, your own experiences, your own things to get you through the pandemic. I'm very proud of the part that I played and we played as streamers to entertain people and to grow communities, and we're now starting to take that to the next level. But it was a very special moment. It's a very big part of my life, I have to say, which is why I really wanted to make this video, because I know it's a Friday evening right now. I know that 2 years ago I would have been playing Gran Turismo Sport, probably streaming it on YouTube and having a great time. And unfortunately, that times are coming to the end because the servers are ending. So, very sort of sad video to have to make. Let me know your favourite GT Sport memories in the comments, and I will see you. I'll see you next time.